Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Hopefully this live stream. I'm going live with my Hero 9, my GoPro Hero 9 and my iPhone 14 Pro Max. The iPhone Pro Max 14, GoPro Hero 9. So, what I'm going to talk about is black bear, and about my black bear hunt from like a week ago here in Maine. As you know, as you already know, and for those of you that are watching that don't know anything about black bear or black bear hunting and why I hunt black bear and why hunters in general hunt black bear, if you're here for the first time learning about this and you've never heard anything about this topic, I'm sure you know and you already have in your mind, that this is a very controversial topic. It's a very touchy subject. And anti-hunters, that's those that really try to stop hunting, stop the efforts of hunters, being wildlife conservationists that they are. And that in itself is an arguable statement, what I just said, that hunters are a wildlife conservationist. You got to do your search this on Google it, Yahoo search it on. I believe strongly I am a steward of wildlife, the lands that I hunt, that I enjoy with my family, whether I'm four-wheeling, hiking, hunting, or just wildlife, enjoying Mother Nature in general. I believe that I'm a steward of the lands and the wildlife, and also a wildlife conservationist. And this is a very arguable point, but now I'm straying here. I'm going way off topic as far as what this live stream is supposed to be about. And it's supposed to be about a large black bear, a very big black bear, and about black bear hunting. About a week ago now, let's see, today's Wednesday, so tomorrow will make a week exactly, a week from when I actually shot my personal best black bear here in Maine. A very big bear. I want to go way back to the beginning, about a month and a half ago. What are we, into September? Let's just check dates. September, no, we're not even a week into September. It's September 4th. But rewind about a month ago, back to the first day of pre-baiting. Here in Maine, it is still legal to set up a bait site, to place food or some form of bait or attractant to entice black bear to an area. And not all states have allowed this method or a tactic for hunting the black bear. But about a month ago now was the first day that I set out to bait black bear here in Maine. And now when I establish a bait site, let's pretend that I'm looking for a brand new site, a place that I've never baited before. I'm doing my research, my thorough scouting. I'm looking at aerial photos and studying maps and talking to locals. And I'm trying to gather all sorts of information, gather all the bear sightings. I'm looking for bear sign that's telling me that there are black bear in the area. I'm vast forest that's just mixed with hills and mountains and valleys and lowlands and some old cuts, new clear cuts, just a mixture of everything, you name it. I'm looking for miles and miles of tracts of wilderness that would be able to support and have black bear. So to make a long story short, I'm looking for a really prime black bear habitat, looking for an area that already has black bear before I'm ever setting out bait. And I look for a place that has ample natural, like ample food nearby and water nearby. I'm going into an area where that place that just screams black bear. I'll just know for sure that there are black bear living nearby. And I like to have my baits pretty close by, within 100, 200 yards of water, of any water source, sometimes closer. Black bear in the summer months might only need like 8,000 to 10,000 calories of food a day, barely 10 pounds of food a day. But when as the nights get colder, days get shorter, nights get colder, and we're getting closer into fall and getting closer to winter, black bear need over 20,000 calories of food a day. That's like between 10, 15, 20 pounds of food a day that a black bear needs. And naturally, you can imagine an individual consuming that many calories, that much food, eating that much, is going to make that individual, that animal, a very thirsty animal. So obviously black bear need a lot of water. So it makes sense to set your bait near a water area, nearby streams, rivers, ponds, lakes, things like that. But nearby swampland, wetlands that have water already naturally there. Baiting goes back to one of my earlier uploads on my YouTube channel. That's how to bait black bear. The 3 rules to baiting black bear. That's a video that I uploaded a couple weeks ago. You can go watch that video after you listen to me here live today. And you can find that on the Spikes and Gills YouTube channel. You have to go watch that. How to bait black bear, 3 rules, on the Spikes and Gills YouTube channel. Watch that after you listen to me live here today. But I'm going to touch on one of those rules, and that is keeping things simple. And that's why I mentioned when I'm setting up a brand new bait site, baiting path. So where I put the truck, I establishing a baiting path, if you will, from the truck to the location where I'll have a barrel or a bucket tied or strapped to a tree, the place where I want to place my bait and attractant scents and my frostings and donut glazes and syrups and spray grease and all that. I'll have a baiting path that I clear out. I clear that path of any branches or ferns or leaves or trees or any type of vegetation that might brush against my pants, that might brush against me as I'm walking to and from the bait site. I don't want to leave any unnecessary human odor, scent, or foreign odors on that path. Then I have to. I want the bear to be used to my baiting boots. And this is another thing I do when baiting. I keep things simple and the same. I stick to that same baiting path when I bait every morning. And yes, I bait every morning. You're in a sense kind of training the black bear to come to the bait at a certain time of day. And that's hopefully in the evening hours, like after 3 p.m. Between 3 and 7 p.m. That's the ideal time for black bear to come to your bait site. So bait every morning about the same time, within the same hour time frame every morning. And bait every morning, because it takes a ton of, like 20 or more pounds of food a day just to feed one bear. You gotta imagine if you have multiple 3, 4, 5 or more black bear coming to your bait site, they're wiping that bait site clean of any food. So when they go away, the belly's full, feeling satisfied, they're gonna lay up close by. They'll probably go bed down and rest close by your bait site. Now when they get good and hungry again, when they get up, stretch their legs, they're hungry again, they're gonna come back to your bait, hoping to get another morsel of food, to get easy food. And if you have no food there at your bait, you have nothing there to reward them when they show up, they're more than likely apt to venture off looking for food elsewhere and several miles away from your bait site. They will come back eventually, but it could be days or weeks before they come back to your bait site. You want to make darn sure there's always bait food there in your baiting barrel every time the bear comes in. And you want to the idea is to fill them up, have them going away feeling full, satisfied, and tired, and they'll go lay up within several hundred yards of your bait and want to come back in the evening hours to eat some more. So bait every morning. And now I'm going to go back to my baiting path and talking about baiting boots. I mentioned something earlier about using baiting boots, and that's what I do is I wear the same boots every morning that I'm baiting. So that way the bear aren't getting any other type of odor or any other foreign scent to put them on high alert and make them go nocturnal and things like that. And I always wear the same gloves. I have baiting gloves, baiting boots. Wear the same gloves, same boots every morning I bait. It's okay to just wear your regular clothes that you wear day to day going to work. That's why I clear the path of any vegetation that might brush against me, that might catch odor off my clothes. I make sure not, and also when I'm baiting, I'm not touching any brush, branches, and trees around the bait. I'm very careful where I step. It's also a good idea not to put grease and syrup and food right in front of the baiting barrel or bucket. The places where you've got to stand and step and stand and walk to lift up and straighten out your barrel and dump your food in the barrel and all that. You don't want to get a whole bunch of food and syrups and grease stuck to your boots that you're tracking up and down that baiting path to your truck. The idea is to not mention a bear. So, another thing, let's rewind a little bit. I forgot to mention that I actually set up my stand and my hunting blind. If it's a blind site, set up the blind weeks in advance. If it's a stand site, set up the stand weeks in advance. Before I ever start baiting, putting any food, and before I ever start trying to attract black bear to my bait site, that stand is already, my hunting stand's already set. I clear all my shooting lanes to the bait from the stand, and I establish my path that I take to that stand that's totally separate and several, maybe 50 or more yards away from the baiting path I take to bait every morning. So I have my hunting path that I will never go to, I'll never use when baiting. I never go anywhere near my stand when baiting. The idea here is not to have any food smell, no food odors whatsoever anywhere near your hunting blind or hunting stand. Don't draw any attention to your hunting spot, your sit spot from those bear. You don't want them bear to have any idea that you exist, that you're there when you're sitting in your stand waiting for them to come in the evening. And that's how it was. That's how it happened for me a week ago on my hunt when I harvested my largest black bear to date. That bear came in the bait, and he was looking up the path that I take to bait every morning. He knew that I came and went on that path, and that's where the bear was looking. He was fixated on that location, and he wasn't seeing me or smelling me or hearing me. So he was content, and he proceeded on to the bait barrel to do his thing. The bear never once knew I was up in that tree stand, 18 feet up in the tree to his right. And it was about a 20-yard shot with my slug gun, with my pump action shotgun with 1 ounce, 3-inch shell, 1 ounce slug. So yes, I shot my largest black bear to date with a slug, 12 gauge slug. And that was about a week ago. Now let's go back to baiting, establishing a bait site. So yeah, keep things the same and simple. Have your hunting path to your sit spot, whether it's a blind or a tree stand, totally separate and different from the path you use every morning to bait. And don't leave any unnecessary strange odors or scents, human odor, anywhere near the paths that you take to hunt or to bait or to work and all that. The idea here is to make an animal that mostly, probably like upwards of 90% of the time, travels under the cover of darkness. They're a diurnal animal, though. Like they're a dusk and dawn critter. They are going to move the most at early hours in the morning and late hours in the evening and all hours of the night. So the idea here is to make an animal like that come into your bait in the daylight with ample legal shooting light. And that can be tough. It can be very difficult at times. Black bear a lot of times come into the bait sites after dark. They go nocturnal at bait sites, and that a lot of times it's because the hunter is probably they could be doing one or multiple things wrong or that's causing them to be nocturnal. They could be straying off. They might not be sticking to the same path for baiting. They could be straying through the woods, brushing up against a whole bunch of vegetation, just depositing all kinds of strange scents and odors everywhere. They could be making new sounds every time they go. it's vitally important to keep things the same, have the same sounds. So like when I park my truck, I never shut my truck off. And I'm baiting early hours of the morning, sometimes before work. Sometimes it's still fairly dark. It's just coming light in the morning when I bait. So I like to shine my path with my headlights in my truck in the beginning. And then I always stick to that same path. I'm not talking to myself, talking out loud. I'm not talking on the phone, playing music or anything like that. I don't make any unnecessary sounds or noises. And when I bait, I straighten up my barrel. The sounds that the bear is going to be used to and accustomed to is the sounds of the cinder block and plywood falling off the barrel. The barrel being hit. The bear is going to be okay with the sound of a 55-gallon drum being banged against and hit. That's just going to make the bear think that there's some other critter, another bear maybe stealing the food out of the barrel. It's all pretty much a dinner bell to that bear. When you're straightening out your barrel, making all that noise with that barrel, that's telling that bear, ooh, there's fresh food there. And they're going to come in hours later to look for food to eat. Now what I do is I pour my food from the bucket into my barrel. I bang my bucket 3 times, 1, 2, 3. Then I'll bang the edge of the barrel 3 times, 1, 2, 3. Do that same thing every morning, the same sounds, same rhythm, same patterns. You want to stick to the same patterns every day that you bait. No unnecessary sounds or noise, no unnecessary talking or scents or odors. Don't make them bear nocturnal. Don't give them a reason to have to come in after dark. You want them in there good and early enough for a shot in daylight. And another reason too, actually this is probably the #1 reason why black bear might come to your bait after dark. And this doesn't have nothing to do with the hunter. It just has to do with the placement of the bait sometimes. Sometimes a bait site is just too far away from where the bear are coming from. You gotta think of that too. You want to establish your bait sites as close to the most prime, best bear habitat possible in the area that you're planning on pursuing the black bear. Try to get your bait in tight, close quarters to where black bear naturally travel or want to travel. And that would be drainages, like ravines and drainages that have runoff and streams running through them, and with ample food, vegetation, herbaceous vegetation, and other things that the bear like to eat. You know, drainages leading into other bigger parts of water, like streams and rivers, ponds, lakes, things like that. Places like that would hold black bear. That's a place that bear might naturally travel. Ridges, hardwood ridges with oaks, with beech nuts and acorns, and mountainous areas, mountain country, are great. Like having a bait on a ridge, like a high point, high rise, with water below, several hundred yards down, with a lowland, an area where a black bear might come up from, like a place the bear might hole up and lay up and rest, bed up during the day in the heat of the day. And baiting seasons are always in times of the year that it's hot during the day. It could be 70, 80 degrees, and it could drop 30, 40 degrees in the evening and be in the 40s and 50s at night. And so the bear, they'll hold up in the lowlands and the lower areas, the drainages areas near the water where it's damp and cool, where they have a place to drink. And they'll come up from there to feed in the higher elevations in the evening towards the acorns and beech nuts, things like that, other food that they're going for. And so sometimes it's a good idea to have a bait on like a ridge or a high point with the scent of that food, the spray you use or attractants you use to attract the bear. Have that blowing down to the valley and the drainage down below. And that can pull in and draw in ample black bear and new black bear too. So that's, you gotta keep that in mind. You gotta think, is my bait close enough to black bear to the point where they're going to come into my bait in daylight? So sometimes that's really all it is as to why I'm hoping this is helping you. If you're a bear hunter and listening to this, watching this right now, and you're trying to figure out why are the bear coming in after dark, boom, a light. I'm telling you right now, it could just be that your bait's too far away from where the bear are coming from. So keep that in mind. You might need to rethink, re-strategize as far as where to place your bait. And so, going back to setting up bait sites, and stuff. Pull in several gallons of grease, mix that, pour grease all over the trees around your bait and on the ground and stumps. And that grease is going to attract bear for weeks and months. That grease is going to cling there and stick there even through rain. It's always going to be there. It's going to create licking posts, a place for the bear to paw and dig at and lick at. And that grease is going to get on the pads of the bear, the feet of the bear, on the fur of the bear. And that's ultimately going to attract, pull in more bear. As those bear go away from your bait, walking through the forest, they're depositing scent everywhere they go. And in turn, a big bruin, a big boar that you're hoping to shoot, a big trophy 300+ pound bear might come catch the scent of that grease and come on in for check things out. So having syrups and frostings all over the place and grease when you first set up, establish a bait site is very good. That's going to ensure that if one bear comes in and they eat, get full, they go away, travel, walking through the forest, they're depositing scent everywhere they go. That's going to pull in new bear. So it's a good idea to have multiple bear coming to your bait so you can be an ethical hunter, and you can like watch, study, and observe these bear through your trail cam pictures. And also when hunting, you can kind of be choosy and pick and wait for the big, more mature, older bear to come in, harvest the bigger bear. And that's where like anti-hunters kind of go wrong in thinking that baiting is bad for bear hunting. Baiting is a necessity. It's extremely necessary if a hunter wants to be shoot ethically, want to be an ethical hunter. Now, black bear are extremely hard to field judge as far as size, as far as age class and sex and size. They're extremely hard to judge when just seeing one out in the wild, roaming, walking through the forest. It's so much easier for a hunter to judge the size and age and sex of a bear when they're coming into a 55-gallon drum. Typically, a black bear standing above the second ring on a barrel to about the hip bone of a man. Any black bear that stands to the hip bone of a grown man, where if the back of a bear is almost to the top of a 55-gallon drum, just several inches below, that's a shooter bear all day long. That's a grown, mature, older black. And any bear under the top ring around a 55-gallon drum, any bear that's about knee-high or just above this is most likely going to be a cub or a yearling, if you will, a 1-year-old or a cub. And that is not a shooter bear. Now, when baiting, a hunter is able to tell if it's a sow that's got cubs coming in. Now, a hunter could be out there just still hunting, roaming the forest, walking ridges, hoping to jump shoot a bear. A hunter could mistakenly shoot a sow that had cubs, but they wouldn't have had any way of knowing. They see a bear out there 200 yards on the opposite ridge, feeding on acorns, and they lay prone, get set up, rest. You know, it was a large, huge black bear, and they go up to it, and there's cubs standing there nearby. What's the hunter to do with it? Then the hunter feels horrible that he just shot a sow that had cubs that weren't even a year old yet. Now that's why baiting is such a necessity. That's why baiting is good. It can allow the hunter to tell if it's a sow that's got cubs, or baiting allows a hunter to be able to watch and observe, to be able to tell and teach that bear, tell if it's an adult, a mature bear, and they can sex it. They can study that bear and look at it to tell if it's a sow or a boar. So baiting is, in a sense, is actually a very necessary tool for black bear hunters. And I want you to share everything I just told you now with everyone. Go out there and let everyone know, how important baiting is. I mean, a lot of hunters, they like the thrill of they're thrill seekers. They like to be able to go out and track down a bear, spot and stalk a black bear. But yes, a hunter can watch and observe a bear for a time and observe the surroundings to see if they may have cubs with them. Be able to tell if you can sex the bear in some by if just conventionally hunting and hoping to spot and stalk a bear. For the most part, a black bear, it's got a high rump. The rear end of the bear looks taller, higher than the neck of the bear, and the rear, and the bear's got a real wide, tall, big rump, and they appear short, stubby, and maybe the head too isn't so blocky, and it looks like too like the snout, the nose of the bear is a muzzle, like someone took a dog muzzle and just glued it to the face of the bear. That's a female, that's a sow. Your boars, your male black bear are going to be huskier in the front. They're going to have the broader shoulders. They're not going to have the big blocky, big high, wide rump. They're going to be more streamlined. They're going to be longer, taller, big, broad shoulders. They're going to have big, blocky heads. They might start showing that crease from the top of their head. They're going to have smaller ears, for the most part, ears that are more to the sides of the head. And nose on a male, a boar, if you will, is more streamlined, more dynamic with the forehead. It doesn't look like a muzzle stuck to the face on male black bear. The nose is more like this, more streamlined, aerodynamic. So that's how you can ID a male from a female black bear. So yes, a hunter out just spotting and stalking or tracking, trying to track down or still hunt onto a black bear in the mountains can sex the bear that way, but if they know what features to look for to be able to tell if it's a male or female. And now if a hunter spots a bear and they're certain it's a female, then they can see if it might have cubs with it before they decide to shoot or not shoot, whatever. But I mean, for the most part, the bear is going to be spotted, and the hunter is going to be excited and anxious, and they're going to shoot right away. And it could end up being a sow that has cubs. But yes, so I stand corrected in the sense that yeah, you can still be an ethical hunter even when conventionally hunting black bear. But with bait, it's so much just easier for a hunter, especially a first-time bear hunter, someone wanted to shoot their first ever black bear. So much easier for them to just go to an outfitter, a guide, if you will, and pay for the $2,500, $3,000, $3,500 for a guide to put them on a bait site. And it's easier for that first-time bear hunter to be able to field judge the bear when they're at a bait near a barrel. They can tell if that bear is tall enough and old enough, and they can be able. They're watching. They can see if it is a sow with cubs or if it's a male. Oh yeah, so that's that. I think I've talked enough about setting up, trying to establish a baiting area and setting up a brand new bait site. We've gone over all that. Let's touch on what you're here for, why you probably clicked on or watching. Now let's talk about my show. Now this that I shot a week ago. There we go. Is it still going live? I just closed out the window on my phone, but I want to make sure that we're still going live. I think we are. Okay, I had to close out that window on my phone. I was hoping it didn't abort mission. And I've been talking like, what is it, half hour? Wow, a long time. So, let's go to pictures. This was a very large black bear. Where's the... Yeah, let's rewind that. Let's watch that again. So here I am on stand. His paw was bigger than my hand. 230-pound live weight there was probably 250. That is a big animal roaming the forest. It's a big black bear. He was as wide than the front forklift. He was a very big black bear. I shot this bear a week ago tomorrow. It will have been exactly a week ago tomorrow. And paw, his rear foot was bigger than mine. This was a very big bear. Man, he's huge, guys. He's huge. Yeah. How I didn't find blood right away. It took me quite a while. It took me nearly an hour to find the first drop of blood. And as soon as I started finding blood, I started marking it with toilet paper. He went about 60 yards. That's it. He didn't run too far. I heard him go silent. I heard kind of where he crashed down and went silent. It wasn't very far away from my stand. I made a perfect shot on him with a gun, with a slug. And I think I found blood 20 yards or so from where he started running. But I took my time to find it. I didn't want to ruin any blood sign or sign. It helped to find his scuff marks, where he dug into the ground when he took off running. I was able to find the soil dug up, the scuff mark stuff where he was running, and I tracked him that way until I found the first drop of blood. And then it started. The blood bath was immense. He started opening up more as he went, and then the blood trail was extremely easy to follow once I found it. I was able to walk right up on him about 60 yards away or so from my stand. And I could not budge him by myself. There was no way in heck I was getting my bear out of the woods by myself. I had to get out of there quick and call for help before my potential help was already asleep in bed. It was like 8:30 at night. I shot him. See, I've got a picture of him coming in. The cuttyback took a picture of him at 7:17 p.m. And I think last legal shooting light, last legal minute was 7:40 something, 7:40ish. He comes in at 7:17. I would just videoed him for a while, and watched him for several minutes, for a good 5 minutes or so, before I actually shot. 17, 18, 19, 20. It's about 7:22, sometime after 7:20 p.m. that I shot him. And there was like 20 minutes of daylight to go. And I found him right around sometime after 8 o'clock. I looked for blood right away when it was still light out, using flashlight and all. Couldn't find any right away. So I went to the truck for more lights, for stronger flashlights, and put the gun away and shed some clothes, because I was sweating immensely. Then I went back to find the bear. I did find the bear. Found him sometime after 8, between 8 and 8:30. I went right back to the truck to call for help. I was only baiting where I shot this bear was like 20 minutes from my house. So I ran home to grab the jet sled. I knew I'd need it to drag him out of the woods. He was too big just to pull with a rope or drag. And I called Dan and Kenny, my two buddies, to come help. It took 3 of us to get that bear out of the woods, and 3 of us struggled pulling him. We knew we were pulling something over 200 pounds. We definitely did. And so, yeah. Big bear. Thank you, Dan. Down here. No, this is right in the tree right there somewhere. Tree. Their old bait bucket. Yeah. So. Yeah. Oh, look at his footprint. Oh, that's mine. That was his. Yeah, that. Where he stepped. Man, his footprints look bigger than my feet. Oh. I knew it was a big bear. Yeah. It's not thick at all right through here. Yeah. Holy crap, look at that right here. Don't get it all over. You probably don't care. What do you think? Is he good size?
He's big. He's big for a bear.
It's a good size freaking bear, isn't it? Oh, it's alright, making you a movie star. Yeah, take some pictures. Yeah, that was a big bear. There he is. He can't even get, he's heavy. He's big and heavy. Yeah, so. Yeah, he's big. He was a very big bear. Bigger than, his front paw was bigger than my hand. I'm a big grown man. I'm like 240-ish. Yeah, so, and when I was blood trailing this bear, before I got to him, I saw where his hind foot sunk into a rotten log, and it was longer and wider than my boot. When I saw that, my jaw dropped. I knew I was dealing with a big black bear. I was like, I need help. But yeah, so that was my 2024 Maine black bear that I harvested a week ago. That was a real bear. So I hope all of you have learned too on this live stream today. If nothing else, hopefully you learned at least one thing that will help you be a better bear baiter, better bear hunter, and just help you better understand bear baiting. And now why I hunt black bear is yes, I eat them. Me and my son love black bear meat, and many of my friends and other family members love black bear meat, and when prepared correctly. And that's just something you've got to just research and read up on before ever consuming black bear meat. There's things you need to know, very important things, before ever cooking and preparing black bear meat. And number two reason why I really love hunting black bears is just the thrill. I'm a thrill seeker. The thrill of it, the excitement of it. It gives me something to look forward to every fall. Like come blueberry season, blueberry harvest in August. I have to wake up early every morning anyway for work, for blueberry harvest. And it just adds a little bit more excitement and thrill to each morning. That's being able to go and walk. Which like Christmas, getting this shit and go and just give me photos, and just love to be out there in nature and watch and observe these elusive black ghosts, if you will, these elusive critters. I like to observe them out there in the woods, watch and learn from them. It's just so. And a third reason why I love to bait black bear, why I hunt black bear, is because, let's go back to what I stated earlier in this live stream, that I'm a wildlife conservationist. It's my duty as a hunter to be part of the Inland Fisheries and Wildlife Management Conservationist plan that they have in effect to ensure proper carrying capacities of these critters and animals in the woods. And part of managing the wildlife, the deer, bear, moose, all the animals that we hunt, it goes back to the carrying capacity, to the carbon footprint that they leave, and all that, and just the whole ecology and conservation and everything of it. You've got to just delve into deeper, to read about it, look it up yourself, research this for yourself to learn more about it. Because I've been going for over a half hour now. This live stream's gone long enough. But third reason is it's part of my feeling as a hunter, as a wildlife conservationist. Part of I feel it's my duty to fill those tags. Every year I have deer tags, a bear tag. It's a hunter's responsibility as a wildlife conservationist to fill those tags. It's part of what the Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, the game wardens and biologists want in this whole grand scheme of things, this whole conservation plan that they have in effect. It's us, our hunters' duty, us hunters, it's our responsibility to fill those tags. So that would be the third reason. And so that's pretty much enough. That's the gist of it right there. So, hey, smash that like button for me, could ya? Hey, did I scare you? Smash that like button before you go. If you're not subscribed to my Spikes and Gills YouTube channel, won't you please subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified of all future uploads. And I greatly appreciate the extra support and follow. I'd love to see Spikes and Gills grow. Can't do that without your help, everybody. So please hit that like button before you go. Subscribe if you're not already. Greatly appreciate it. See you all next time.